Hi there, welcome to my channel. Make sure to hit that subscribe button when you arrive. Today I'm going to be showing you guys my first ever knotless installation. Yep, this is going to be the first time I do knotless on myself. I did knotless a little bit before this, maybe a week or two, on my mom. I used her as a guinea pig after watching a couple tutorials. Hair is getting more and more expensive, and it doesn't matter what style you're getting, but I just figured if I could at least learn how to do some basic knotless braids, that could just kind of save me a little bit of money in the long run. So anyway, in this first minute of the video, I've shown you guys the tools I'm going to be working with today. By the way, that is the best edge control. I went ahead and grabbed this six bundle pack of 4 Spectra pre-stretched braiding hair. So that's what I'm going to be using. As you can see, the color is a perfect match for me. And I'm feeling like, ooh, I need to give me a sew-in or something, because this is looking kind of cute. Ooh. Anyway, I wanted to let you guys know that I am actually using the twist out that I did in my first wash day hair video. If you guys want to check that out on my channel, it is up. That's the first time I've ever posted hair content. But as I mentioned in that video, my intention was to kind of section off my hair and let it air dry so that I can do a heatless preparation and install of these knotless. And as I mentioned before, I do the same thing on my mom. Her knotless prep and installation was heatless as well. So I want to try it on me. I am tying this hair up and I'm getting ready to go in. I'm clipping the excess hair, but I have a section. Now, I'm going to tell you guys, I did resection my hair from the original twist out that I had, so that's why it looks a little wonky. And the sections for this knotless installation is not going to be all that cute. It ain't gonna make sense. In fact, that is one of the things that I would love to improve for the next installation that I do, is to have better sections. But like I said, this is the first time, so I was just happy that I was able to get the hair in my head. Okay, so as you can see, I'm gelling down that first section. I'm taking out about a pinch of hair, and I'm actually gonna split that pinch in half to try to install it into the braid. Now, starting at the back was really hard for me, so I had to switch to starting at the front because I can't see. Let me begin to walk you guys through how I installed my knotless braids. So as you can see, I am starting out with just a basic detangling or combing out of the twist. And since this is my front piece, I am going to go ahead and preset my edges. Now, this doesn't mean that they're going to be perfect, but it's just kind of like an idea to give me some edges and go ahead and place them so that all of my little edge hair is not wrapped up into the braid. Anytime I've gotten my hair done by a professional braider, this is what they do, so that it kind of gives the braid a look, and you don't have to go back and try to pluck out the edges after you've already braided them in. So the next thing I'm doing is feeding in the hair. Now, this is the hardest thing, okay? It took me a lot of trial and error to get this tactic down, and I still don't have it perfect, but we're gonna talk about it a couple times, because if you are a first-time braider like me, we gotta figure out what the best method is. What makes knotless so great is there's low tension, and basically it starts out with just your hair. So as you guys can see, the first couple notches of the braid is just plaiting my own hair, and then I'm going in with a pinch of the braiding hair and I'm twisting it into one side and then also the middle section of the braid. And then once I get it hooked in, I'm able to just continue the braid moving downward. So let's see how long it takes me to get this first braid hooked in. Oh my God, I did it. Yes. It took trial and error, but we here though. We here. So we're gonna go through this process a couple more times, and I'm gonna walk you through step by step what I'm doing with each section, each braid, because it's just about consistency. It's just a pattern, and that's it. You follow the pattern, you end up with a head full of knotless braids. So I'm taking the Shine Jam, I'm smoothing out the section to make sure that the part is defined and slick. This is also going to help the braiding hair stick to my real hair. It's also going to give me a tight braid, okay? So now I'm taking my fingers after I've already detangled it with the comb or brush, and I'm starting out that knotless braid at the root. Now here's the thing that I didn't explain earlier. You do want to try to get it as tight as possible at the root. This is going to help your braid last a little longer and look a little neater, especially if you have bigger sections like me. So I'm taking that pinch of hair again. You may have to comb it a few times just so that it's not tangled up. And as you can see, I split it in half. So what I figured out on the first try was that when I'm adding in the hair, there's a twisting motion that you must do to kind of bind or lock in the braiding hair with your own hair. So you see how that went a lot smoother the second time that I did it. I didn't have as much trouble because I figured out, okay, I gotta kind of blend this hair together to get it to go into a braid. So now we got two braids in our head. On to the next. So again, I'm grabbing that section, I'm brushing it out so that the hair is loose. I'm presetting my edges with edge control and an edge brush. Doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be exactly how you want the swoopty swoops to be, just has to be enough hair to where you know you can style it later how you want. I'm going ahead and gelling that section down, and then I am starting my knotless braid with a plait of my own real hair, braiding it a couple notches down, and I'm adding in my first pinch of braiding hair. Now here's something really important that I want to point out. See how you can see exactly where I added the braiding hair in? That is not okay. That's not cute. That's not what we want. And I tried to avoid doing that. I got better as I went on. As you guys can see, I didn't redo this braid even though I should have. But it was a lesson for the next braid, okay? So we're gonna talk about that later on, how you can maybe avoid getting that little loop. But let's move on to this next section, okay? So remember the steps that I told you, we're repeating those, and then we're going in to start our braid as tight as we can at the root. What you'll notice is I'm adding hair about 2 to 3 times into each braid. This is going to depend on the consistency of the thickness that you want your braid to be. I'm doing larger braids, so I wanted them to be pretty thick going down. And you guys see me laughing because I'm like, these braids, these messy ass braids is hilarious to me, but they ended up being cute. But I just was like, okay, this is kind of, it's not as neat as it could be. I did my first little snip, so this is about how much hair I am clipping off the end of the braid. They're about hip length. We're looking good. Like I said, I'm dying because this is not what I'm used to, y'all. Like this is my first time doing my own braids, so it's just so hilarious. They're cute, but at the same time, they're a little bit sloppy. But we're gonna keep going though. So once again, I'm presetting my edges. I was about to say laying them, but presetting them, because I might go back and lay them later. And then I go back into my installation pattern. So here's one of those loops again. Remember we had that in, I think that braid, right? Yep, that one. We had one over there and I didn't go back and fix it. But this time I decided to undo the braid and fix this issue. The trick to not having that loop showing, I believe, is braiding underhand, not overhand. So when we're twisting the hair in, we have to make sure that we're twisting it back and that the braid is being twisted to the back and not the front. You may notice a few pieces of hair sticking out here and there. Remember, I do have some bangs that are cut into the front part of my hair, so that's naturally going to happen. When you have layers in your hair, it's going to kind of stick out a little bit. Don't freak out. Just make sure you have enough gel to get it as smooth as possible, not just at the root, but at the ends too. Okay, so this is my last section before I'm halfway through, and this is the results. We're looking pretty good. Now I just have to tackle the back half. So as you can see, I did already start on one piece, and I discovered that I actually can do the back part of my hair by myself. I thought I was gonna have to call for backup, but I just couldn't do it in front of the camera. So I am doing that same pattern, that same technique that I showed you guys many times earlier, and I'm just taking that braid all the way down. By the way, this is my final braid. So what I ended up doing for a finishing touch was a perm rod set on the ends. After 7 hours, I am so over it, but I'm finishing off the set with some mousse. And I'm just working it down about halfway through the braid, just to kind of catch any of those flyaways and smooth anything that the gel didn't catch. So guys, here's the finished product. 7 hours, 19 knotless braids with a perm rod set to the ends. As I mentioned earlier, the parting doesn't really make sense. However, it was a learning experience because I got to see why professional braiders stack their parts for a more full look and a better fall. If you enjoyed this video, check out my other content and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.